beach in Florida, right? But I'm on the west coast side of Florida. I'm the Gulf of Mexico side. So if you can look at a map, you'll see where I am. And guess what? Anna, my healthy cameraographer, is going to show you. Right in front of our beach house, we have a sea turtle nest, right? And we have them all up and down our beach, right? Anna, how many would you say we have? Maybe 20?
Probably about 20, maybe 30.
Because where we're staying in Florida, the nesting season starts May 1st all the way up to October 31st, which is Halloween, right? So I wanted to show you, probably this is a a loggerhead sea turtle. And this is probably the kind of sea turtle that's made a nest here. And if not, then it might be this Kemp's Ridley. We don't know, but these are make-believe because these are way too small to be the actual kind of sea turtles. But these are the ones we like to play with, all right? So, Anna, come on in closer. I brought some things to the beach with me because I wanted to show you what happens when a sea turtle like this decides that it's time to come lay its eggs, right? So we know that sea turtles are reptiles that spend most of their life out at sea, right? But after they mate out in the ocean, the moms, the females, have to come up on shore. And that happens for the loggerheads and for the Kemp's Ridley sea turtles here in on the Gulf of Mexico and on the coast where like we go to the beaches in North Carolina and South Carolina. That happens in between May and October. So the moms come up onto the land, which is not easier for them because look, they've got these flippers, right? They don't have regular feet just like regular land turtles do. They've got flippers for swimming, right? But they haul themselves up in the sand, right? And they find a really good, safe spot where they're gonna lay their nest, right? And so they start by clearing kind of a pit, right? And then with those hind feet, they start digging, digging, and digging, right? And then in the sand, they lay a clutch of eggs. And they can lay from anywhere from 50 to like 350 eggs. And you know how many times they do that per season? Anywhere from 1 time to like 8 times. So they can lay hundreds of eggs in one mating season, one nesting season. And when they're finished laying the eggs, then they take those flippers and they cover those eggs up. Cover, cover, cover.
Fun fact, the warmer the eggs are, the more female eggs there are.
That's right.
The colder the eggs are, the more male eggs are. So the mama turtle has to make sure that the nest is the right temperature so that there will be an equal amount of males and females.
That's right, Anna, you're so good. So when she has finished laying her eggs, she goes back out to sea again, right? Because she leaves her eggs untended. Hopefully she's chosen a really good nesting spot and covered them up really well, right? And you know, sometimes they even lay decoy nests. They'll go and make a fake nest, right? So she leaves those eggs, and in about 50 to 60 days, that's almost like 2 months, right? So if she laid the eggs like today, they'd hatch in July, in the middle of the summer. So those eggs that she hatched, that she laid in her nest, those eggs start to break open, and you get these little turtles that emerge from the nest, and they all emerge together, right? Maybe not at the same time, but within like the same night, right?
And they like to group together, so some of the first to hatch usually stay around in the nest to help the others hatch, and then once the others hatch, they all travel together down to the water. That way it makes it so that more sea turtles are going to get to the ocean.
That's right.
Because there are also predators at night, and I watched a video today where there were sea turtles hatching and hawks were spotting them from the sky, and they just dived down and picked up a sea turtle in its beak. Hawks love to eat the sea turtle hatch.
That's right. And you know, most of the sea turtles, they hatch at night. They nest at night and they hatch at night. But this Kemp's Ridley that likes to hatch during the day, those hatchlings have an extra dangerous trip to the sea because they're all trying to scurry to the sea, right? Then, once they get out into the ocean, they become juveniles. That's like kids, right? And for the first 3 to 5 years of their life, they actually
live out in the middle of the ocean.
Right, in the open sea, right? And they eat seaweed and sargassum, and they get bigger. And when they're at least about 10 years, maybe 20, maybe even 30, that's when they become an adult, and they can start mating again, right? So they spend only a little bit of time out in the open sea because those adults have to come back to the shore so they can lay their eggs, right? So Anna, would you show this nest? All right, so if you take a look at this nest, boys and girls, you can't see very much other than the fact it looks like a mound, right? But over here, you'll notice that there's some little pits. And that's where the mama sea turtle had her front flippers as she was laying her eggs. And then she mounds up the sand over her eggs, right? And she has to put it exactly the right depth so that they become boys and girls, right? Anna, what was your favorite thing that you learned about sea turtles this week?
Probably the way that we can help them. The way that we can help them survive. If you're staying at the beach, I've got some tips for helping them. The tips are, at nighttime, turn off any unnecessary light, and if your beach house has curtains and windows facing the beach, please close the windows and put the curtains on them.
Right, and take off anything from the beach. Like when Anna and I leave, we're gonna clean up all of our toys and our chairs and any umbrellas, so that nothing gets in the way of those sea turtles that want to come up on the beach. What else happens when turtles, Anna, go out into the ocean? What do they eat?
Most turtles, well, adults eat jellyfish, but the hatchlings normally stick to a vegetarian
right
diet.
But they don't have very great eyesight, so they'll eat like plastic bags.
Yeah.
They'll even eat straws.
Believing that it's a jellyfish.
Right.
So you need to be careful of how much trash you use, and you need to be careful that you cut it up into pieces so that sea turtles aren't going to get stuck in them. Because if you leave a container
on the ground, really anywhere.
On the ground, if you leave a soda can or something, that could trap sea turtles.
Right, it could end up in the ocean out there and trap them, or they think it's food and they eat it and then they get very sick and die. And you know what, boys and girls? There's not that many turtles left, right?
We need to not use as much plastic because that hurts them.
Right, and we need to take good care of our beaches so that they can come up on the beaches and nest.
And why we need to do that is because sea turtles are endangered, which means they're close to extinction, which means they die out with no other sea turtles.
And then we wouldn't have any more sea turtles.
And it would disrupt the ecosystem, which is the chain of animals that eat each other.
And depend on each other.
And depend on each other.
Right. So we as humans, we're probably their biggest predator, right? So let's make sure that we're taking good care of our beaches and we're taking care to pick up our litter and not use plastic straws, right? Anyway, I hope you guys learned a little bit of something about those sea turtles, and I will share some more pictures later. But have fun learning more about sea turtles, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks, Anna.